Hello, peoples of the internet. I'm back. I was gone for a bit there. I had a little vacation time with my daughter on Vancouver Island, which was amazing. It was awesome and amazing because it's really smoky here. So if you can see this very strange sheen that's coming in the window, this yellowy effect, it's because it is very smoky in the Okanagan Valley, which makes me really happy that I spent so much time outside in the last 2 months building up to the Smokanogan, which was what we call it here because it's smoky here all the time. So we're getting a lot of that smoke from the West Coast. Clinton, I believe, is where they're having the smoke. So prayers to Clinton as they deal with massive fires and not a lot of resources for fighting the fires. So, and I know the Americans are having a lot of fires too, because there's a lot of this talk about the Americans not being happy at our smoke. Well, we're not happy at their smoke, and smoke happens. So smoke just happens. And we should be doing prayers for all the fires and all the forests and all the animals and the air quality. And if you're capable and able of doing purifying, then purify the heck out of the air in this time period. Everywhere I've gone on my trip and back now at home, I have been purifying the air. So I have new glasses. Surprise. And they have pink sheen in them, and the pink is for migraines because I tend to be light sensitive. So I thought I would try that this time, and hopefully it works. I have noticed major headaches being arising in the last 7-ish days. There's obviously the smoke is one reason, but I would also say major pressure moving through. And for me, if you go watch my other video, I have a video on clearing headaches and migraines, and I've been using those techniques like crazy. And I also have been using a roll-on menthol peppermint. It's for migraines, and it also has been assisting keeping the migraines at bay. And outside of that, I've actually been practicing a new way of healing. So that might be part of what's happening in this time period and sort of what I'm being taught as a new way of healing, not just migraines, but other things as well. So I've been working on my cyst and Evy's leg, and my mom's, there's a dog at my parents' place that's their neighbor's dog who also has a sore leg right now, so I've also been using this technique on them. So I'll share a little bit about it right now, but Evy's in the room, we have the plants in the room, and my minerals all over the place, including the bundle at my neck. And the plant species all around us, the plants and the animals and the sand are connecting in today as well. And we're just going to use their good grounding energy as we go through the stuff that's coming up right now. So it was actually really quiet on the island. I wasn't really receiving anything, and that's my experience on the island. Multiple times I've gone on that trip, and it's like air silence, which is probably a good thing. I think it's because it's an island, so as an empath I'm receiving less energy and less information, or it's just a portal of some kind, or it's being surrounded by the ocean, and that salt water just helps to keep things really pure and clear. So I know there was people talking about major energies coming in a week and a half ago, and I wasn't sensing a thing because of the island air and the ocean and the trees and all of the beauty out there. So, oh, so much beauty out there. It's just incredible how beautiful BC truly is when you get out into nature and you start to do some exploring. We saw some glacier-fed rivers, which were just incredibly blue and just amazing. We saw some waterfalls. We saw some starfish, which I was looking for. Not very many. They're very limited now on the island, but lots and lots of shells and lots of beautiful water. What I'm noticing is coming up in this time period, it literally feels like a Mercury retrograde. And I know that we're coming out of a Mercury retrograde right now, but there's been this Mercury retrograde energy for months and months and months and months. And it seems to be really high right now of if it can go wrong, it's going to go wrong. It's going to go wrong and then wrong again and then wrong again. It's going to really test our abilities to stay present and in a state of love for ourselves first and foremost. So what I've been noticing and or practicing in those times when things are going wrong, and it's really pushing my patience and my anger and annoyance and frustration. And it's almost like tempting me to lose it. And so much so that I did actually have to take a break the other day and come to my room and just be silent for a minute and give myself love into the annoyance and the frustration and the anger. And once I began to give it to myself, it was like, this isn't yours. And it's almost like I like leaving the annoyance in the past where it belongs, or leaving the stress and worry in the future where it belongs. It's like not taking it on today. And so stepping back from whatever's occurring and letting it go. So stepping back, facing the feeling states, so frustration, annoyance, agitation. It's almost at the point of laughter at this point because it's happening so much that it's like obvious, the insanity and the chaos is obvious. And so it's stepping back and alchemizing the feeling that's arising with it, and then let it go. Let it go, let it go, let it go. I can't do anything about this. This has already happened. It just happened, or, it's already happening. I'm already in the middle of it. I'll have to take care of it into the future. But right now I'm just going to let it go because I have a right to be free. And so that's what I've been doing with the energies that are coming up in this time period. And it's been coming fast and hard. That with the headaches and the migraines, which I've been tending to just by visualizing myself above my head and really pushing that energy out, opening up the palms and the feet and just pushing the extra energy out, and scraping the skull and then putting a color into the skull and seeing it go through the whole body. That on top of the roll-on essences, the smells. And that's the other thing, my brain is not working. So I had a weird experience on the island where my hearts just started fluttering, and it felt like almost like when you're on a roller coaster and it drops down. That's what it felt like, and I could feel myself getting like really sweaty. And after that, my brain has not been working properly. It's just like words are not coming. And I'll even jumble words somewhat, like word salad a bit. My kids are like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Oh, hopefully I'm okay." It's like, I think it's just the shifts of the time period. So our brains aren't working the same. It's like I have to slow down to step behind my brain to think. It's not as quick as it generally is. So I'm a quick wit, which I tend to have pretty quick wit, is not there the same. It's like I have to slow down and think about what I'm going to say before I say it. And that could also have to do with the prayers that I'm putting out in this time period. And the prayers that I'm putting out in this time period is help me to connect to my center of self, help me to connect to my 0 point, help me to slow down and to consciously choose in the moment whether it's a good choice for me or not a good choice for me, help me to be aware of my choices, help me to be in alignment when I'm making my choices. That's sort of what I've been putting out to the universe, so it could be part of that as well. Also, I got a new haircut, which is pretty wild. It was a really funky girl who did my haircut. I'm not quite used to the funkiness of it, even though, like, look at these glasses, they're matching the funky nature. But I like it. It's different, it's unique, it's going to grow out in a very unique way. And I'm very, see, there's my words. I am connecting into the 70s and 80s and that real rock star look. And I don't know, it's its own thing. And I always wanted it. Now I'm getting it. So I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. So, yeah. Outside of that, healing wise, what I've noticed is coming up, and like I said, not much of anything came up during those 2 weeks vacation. It was a week and a half about on the island, but since I came back, I was having an experience in regards to my son where I was holding the space of like just being sad, you know, that he has sicknesses, like he has cyclical vomiting syndrome and he's got ankylosing spondylitis. And, you know, he's had some trauma in his life from his dad dying when he was 3. And he was a scapegoat child, you know, in the larger family system, because he was the only boy amongst females. So all my sisters all had girls and he was the only boy. So you would think he would get special attention, the opposite, but he actually got a lot of scapegoating and a lot of attack. So I was thinking about that and it was making me really sad. And I was thinking about how I tried to, you know, make things special for him, and I tried to, I think I focus on him a lot and on his wounds, his woundedness. And I was feeling sad about that. And I was holding that space of the sadness. And as I was holding that space of the sadness and really going down into that sadness, I could feel mass sadness down there. And as I was accessing that mass sadness, it was almost like, I will say, it's a failure space. Feeling like I failed as a mother, which goes, if you watch the past couple videos, that's the collective energy that's coming up in this time period. Those spaces where we felt like we failed others or we failed our loved ones. We failed being not good enough or not perfect, or I didn't save him from his sicknesses, or I couldn't save him from the traumas that happened in his life. And I was just feeling so much sadness in that space, and I was alchemizing that sadness. I was facing the sadness in me, and I was like, no, this is sadness in me, Lisa, that I need to face. I need to give myself permission to love myself in the middle of this sadness, and to give myself safety and peace and love, and to face that space. And I could tell that this was something that was semi-unconscious in me, but collectively is very unconscious in the human collective and in the mothers or in the parents of something that we've held on to and felt responsible for, and then, you know, acted from the separation of feeling responsible instead of from our own wholeness. And I know that there's a whole bunch of programs and patterns in there where I've probably coddled or babied him, or felt like it was my responsibility to do that when he doesn't need that. he needs to be held in wholeness, and I need to be able to access wholeness in myself so that I don't feel like I have to do those programs or those patterns, which are stronger in the mother to the son and probably in the father to the daughter. It's programs that I've seen in the past where, as a mother, I felt like I was a lot harder on my daughter than I was on my son. And I found that those were programs of the slavery matrix. That's that toxic mothering where we let go, or we don't pay attention, or we don't focus on a lot of the toxic masculine programs, or we even create them in that enabling of the masculine. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to take part in that. I want to create freedom within my own body, and I want to create freedom within their bodies, and I want to just be in oneness and in wholeness in my programs and patterns inside myself and in my dynamics towards my children, because I deserve that first and foremost. This world deserves that. This universe deserves that. And my son deserves that. And the family system deserves that. And that's where you're going to actually raise the most well-rounded children and the healthiest relationship between you and them. And so I think a lot of the spoiling that I do, like he loves takeout, fast food, and because he's had so many, he's got the autism spectrum and sensitivities towards food, and he also has cyclical vomiting, so he's puked a lot in his life, that I've wanted to sort of coddle that space and just give that to him, and felt like at least it's something I can give him, and at least he's getting some food in him. And I'm not going to look badly at that part of myself, because I'm going to love myself in that space as a mother and know that I was doing the best that I could, and it was the right choices that I was making in that time period. I was doing the best I could. That's what I want to say. And in this time period, I want to do the best that I can, and I want to clear those programs, and I want to clear those dynamics, and I want to be in the space of freedom for myself first and foremost, and secondarily for him. And so this was one of those pain spaces that is arising in this time period for us to face. It's the ones that have not been faced by the ones prior to us. So what I noted is that as I also was a child with sickness. So I had cancer as a child, childhood cancer. I had retinoblastoma, or cancer of the eye. And being a sick child, I'm assuming that some of the sadness that I was feeling, because it was intense, it was magnified sadness, was my mother's sadness, and feeling sad that she couldn't save me from the sicknesses that I had, or from the pain, or from the suffering, or from the traumas that I went through as a child. And so it was like a double sadness. And even right now, as I'm talking about, you might hear that sadness in my voice, because it's a space that I'm uncovering and facing and clearing just by allowing it. It has a right to exist, and it has a right to be cleared and healed and neutralized, harmonized, and alchemized with my own love. And that whether or not my mom could face it, I sure as hell am going to face it. And I'm going to let myself feel the sadness and the feeling let down by your own self, or feeling let down by the universe, and by life, feeling let down by life, and acknowledging that those are natural things for humans to feel, and that we can love ourselves in those spaces, and that we can give ourselves all the love that we were looking for in the external realm. I can give it directly to myself with that internal medicine, with that soul love. I can face the space, and I can heal that space, even that space too. So guilt and shame would be part of that, is that I'm letting my child down, I'm letting myself down, the universe is letting me down. It's that, like, the universe is considered sort of that mother father figure, and so ultimately feeling let down by the mother and father, and also being ultimately feeling as if you're let down by your body, or your body who created your child is letting down that child's body. And what we saw a couple videos ago, that a lot of that comes down to that karma. It's that choices that we made and the karma that we created in the choices that we made, and in the toxic matches that came together, and even toxic DNA and RNA that came together that was never supposed to come together. And that we can clear that from our ancestral lineages and from our bodies, spirits, and souls. And that's what I'm doing today, and I think that's what's coming up collectively to be done. And I was talking about earlier today the new healings that I've been shown, that I'm being shown. And like, really, I had a really creepy experience yesterday, because we had gone out for a while and I had garbage on the chair. And this is one of those things, like, if it's going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong eight ways wrong. And the dog had gotten into the garbage while we were gone, and there was garbage all over the floor, and I was like, what the, then I was like, this is one of those experiences, Lisa, step back, just alchemize it, let it go, it's already done, just clean it up, it's not a big deal, it's not as a big deal as it seems, right? And I wanted to go into rage, but very quickly I stepped back from it and I alchemized it, and I just picked it up and put it in the garbage. And then I took the garbage and I put it up high on the counter, because I was like, okay, now she can't get into it, now it's safe. But then later that night, I was in my bed with Evie, and the cats were in their big cat house, and so there was no one out there, and I hear bang, and I was like, what the heck? So I went out there, and the garbage is pushed off again all over the floor, and I was like, what the heck? What's going on? Right? I don't know what's going on. I have no idea, but I do know that there's a lot of energy workers talking about negative attacks in this time period. Whether or not that was a negative attack, it's possible. It could also be an ancestor that, was playing a trick. I do have ancestors that like to joke, and like, that's not a joke. Like, I have to clean this up again the second time today, And I was just like, oh, well, here we go again. It was almost like a second test. It was like, going to test me again. What are you going to do now when it's pushed off again? And you have to clean this all up again, including, like coffee grinds and just like chunks of watermelon and all these things that were in there. And I was like, oh, my Lord, are you kidding me? And I could be angry at the universe, and I could be angry, or I could go into terror, panic, fear, and I was just like, I did say, if there's anything in this house that does not belong here, get the hell out. You're not welcome here. Get out of here. I alchemize my space. All that's invited into the space are beings of light and love. And then I just laughed and I cleared it up. And I was like, if this is one of my ancestors playing a joke, that wasn't a funny joke. But I did laugh. So I cleared it up. So, so potentially there's some dark energy trying to affect us in this time period to see, are we going to go into anger and rage when these 8 things go wrong sideways? Or are we just going to love ourselves even there and alchemize the feeling state and know that it's already done, it's already completed? All I can do is go into the presence of the now, and what happens next? I clean it up, and it's not a big deal. It's just part of being human. It's okay. It's all right. I'm okay. I'm all right. I'm going to be okay. It's okay that I'm going through this. It's just part of a human experience, and it's all right. So a lot of self-soothing and a lot of alchemy and a choice to not be affected. A choice to let it go and to be in my center of self and to love myself even there. So that's the stuff that's coming up right now. So there's some really deep, dark shadow spaces within the humans. that are asking us to face those spaces where we feel like it's spaces where we feel like we let people down, where we feel like we let our loved ones down, where we feel like we let our children down. Our children are going to be, for the mothers and fathers, for the caregivers, is going to be like the most sensitive space where you're going to feel this pain that's asking us to face it and to clear it and to alchemize it. And like I said, when I went into that space, I could feel my mom's from me, and I could feel my own sadness. I could also feel my sadness for all the people that I could feel sadness for throughout my lifetime was sort of piled inside that space as well. And it was like all the times that I felt like I couldn't help other people's sadness. Yeah, I can feel major sadness in there too. So we're just going to love ourselves in the spaces where we couldn't help people in their sadness, where we couldn't do anything about it. And it wasn't our job. It was our job to just, number one, for me as a child, it was my job to be a child, and as an adult, it's my job just to alchemize the sadness of not being able to help other people. It's okay to face that sadness and to alchemize that sadness. And then underneath of that, you're going to come to the truth, and the truth is going to say, this isn't even yours. And once you recognize this is isn't even yours, then you can just hold that loving space for the other as they go through what they go through, knowing that we can't do anything about it except for love ourselves, so that we can give them that unconditional love as they find their way through it and love themselves through it. And recognizing that we're all human beings and we're doing the best we can here, and that sad things happen here and trauma happens here, and attack happens and violence happens, and all we can do is, number one, make the choices to take ourselves away from those spaces, and then number two, alchemize them and normalize these experiences for humans and normalize the experiences for ourselves, knowing that we're not perfect, and we're never going to be perfect, and we aren't saviors, and we were never going to be able to save them from it, and we were never going to even save ourselves from it. We're asked to face the spaces and to feel tip your toe in it. That's what I like to do, because these are some severe sadnesses, guilt, pain, suffering, sorrow, heartbreak, yeah, there's some guilt and shame. Sorrow is a good one. Grief, a lot of grief in that space. We're grieving our limitations as humans and not receiving our own love in those spaces so that we can give the love to the other. From health, from wellness, from balance, from harmony, from alignment, and that it's not our job to pander or coddle or entitle or feel like we have to make special others. It's our job to alchemize those spaces as well, so that we can just be present in ourselves and hold presence and love in ourselves, which then allows that presence and love in them. And that's how we stay present to life, to existence, especially in the hardest spaces. So I am going to clear that program, that pattern, that mode of functioning, those ways of existing. Oh yeah, I was mentioning the healings. So what I've been, and that's what I was doing when that bag fell off in the kitchen, just randomly out of nowhere, was pushed off the counter by nothing, which was trying to distract me from what I was doing. And what I was doing was I was finding, so I've been doing this healing where I'm going from the pineal down and around, more like this, down and around to the heart, and from the heart down around to the feet, because the feet holds the frequency of the form realm, and the pineal holds the frequency of our multiple lifetimes. It's the doorway to the multiverse. And then they've been circulating at the heart center, and the heart center is our connection to the God source. So from that center spot, I've been going into the center, and then I've been accessing the beginning. So before any of those things happened, so before this happened, so before my child had the ankylosing spondylitis, before he had, you know, the cyclical vomiting, before I had the ankylosing spondylitis, before I had the trauma, before he had the trauma, before Evie had the pulled ligament in her leg, you know, before she had the tumors or cysts on her body parts, before my mom's dog had the ligament pulled, you know, before a duck that I saw a while ago. I saw this duck limping, and I saw these kids chasing the ducks, and they were like 14, you know, and I was just like, you know, trying to step back into myself and being like, is this my place? Do I need to say something? And before I said something, God did something, and it stopped, and somebody else stepped in, and the parent, grandparent, I think, stepped in. But I saw this duck later, and it had this sore leg, and I'm like, it's the humans, it's these humans that are like chasing them and throwing things at them and thinking this is funny, and like, that's not funny, that's a living being. And my heart was just breaking for this duck and for all of the animal species that humans have mistreated and harmed and violated to try to feel better about themselves, to get that ego boost, and to feel like they were the one in control. And it's just sickness. It's just so sick. And so when I was going into that healing space, I was going before any of that ever happened. So it's at the middle point. It's where all of those things, so the pineal to the heart to the feet and back, and then recently I've been doing into the future, back to the heart, and then back to the past, and then back to the heart. So there's like a four-way, kind of like this, that's happening across, and I'm going to the middle of the cross, to the center of the cross, before any of it began. And I've been holding the space and allowing the healing codes to come in to the beginning before it even began. It's like the beginning of all is the feeling, and it's inside-ish here. So in that part of the human is where I can feel it, and I've just been holding that space. And I'll initiate my center of self before it all began, and then I'll initiate Evie's center of self before it all began, and I'll initiate Tice's center of self before it all began, and I'll initiate my mom's neighbor's dog before it all began, and I initiate little Clyde before it all began, and the duck before it all began. I'll initiate all of our internal sort of fires, because that's what it's like, a white fire, a white opalescent fire. And it's like the God spark in the center, and I'll initiate that, and then I'll hold both of our spaces in that space and allow it to purify and alchemize all of us. And that's what I've been doing, and that's what I was doing when the garbage got pushed off and was challenging me. Am I going to keep doing it? Yeah, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm stubborn AF, friend. Nothing's going to stop me. You know, like, this is part of my purpose. So yeah, I am going to keep practicing it, and I'm even going to share it with all of you. So there you go. That's what I've been doing. If you can practice that, that would be amazing and awesome. For you and for all of those that you're offering those healings to. So I'll let you know how it goes as I practice it as well. So I'm just going to clear those spaces, and that's part of healing too, and I've talked about that in the prior videos, that you have to know that you're worthy and deserving of it. You have to know you're worthy and deserving of healing yourself, and you're worthy and deserving of healing others and accessing that ability to heal. and you're worthy and deserving of the highest timelines, and you're worthy and deserving of being the magician that you truly are. And part of us accessing that is getting down to these wound spaces, to these shadow spaces, and bringing light into those spaces. So bringing love, so facing those spaces of sadness and hurt and betrayal and loss and grief and heartache and helplessness and hopelessness. Facing the spaces that those before couldn't access because they were too painful to access. But we're going to access them today because we have the medicine, we have the skills and the abilities. We've been taught how to alchemize. And so, heck yeah, we're going to be alchemizing that. So here we go. I'm going to alchemize all of that from all of us today. So Source God Mother, I acknowledge and accept everything that we've been speaking of so far today, including these wound spaces that are deeply in the unconscious of the collective and most humans. Definitely inside the caregivers. But if you've caregived pets, if you've caregived partners, if you've caregived children, if you've caregived anything, your own self even, you're going to have these wound spaces inside of feeling like you failed, or feeling like you weren't good enough, or feeling like you didn't prevent their pain or suffering, and something told us it was our job to do it. But in reality, we're humans and we're going to go through pain and suffering. We're going to go through trauma. We're going to go through difficult, painful, hard experiences. And we're in a time period where the karma has been embedded in our cellular structure and in our bones and in our ligaments and in our bodies, in our organs, in our brains, and this is the time period to clear it. And we have to get down to those pain spaces to be able to clear that. And Source God Mother, please help me to access that sadness and that grief and that sorrow and that less than-ness and that it's like the depths of the ocean. It's like dark blue grief, and it's what our mothers felt towards us. I'm sure our fathers too, but I can really feel it through the mother lineage. And it's something we weren't able to love in the past, but it's something we can give that love to today. It's something we can bring that medicine into today. And it's going to change the way we relate with ourselves. It's going to change the way we relate with our loved ones. It's going to change the way we relate with this world, with the plants, animals, air, earth, water. It's going to bring that extra level of freedom. And yeah, I want that. I choose that. I want wholeness for myself, and I want wholeness for my loved ones. And I want to be in presence, because that's why they call it presence. It's the greatest gift that we can have, is to be in presence, in that state of wholeness and love, unconditional love for ourselves and unconditional love for the other. And then we're not feeling like we have to do more. We have to fix it. We have to save it. Even though I'm a healer and I am constantly, trying different ways of healing, I'm not going to feel forced. I'm going to feel invited as a gift. And God, help us with that, because we need that. And we clear these wound spaces. We neutralize, harmonize, and alchemize them back to dust in these old modes of functioning, in these old ways of healing, in these old ways of being in a relationship. And please also clear the old program and patterns around things going wrong, because that's coming up like crazy in this time period. It's like our words aren't coming, word salad's coming out. It's about slowing down. Slow down and access the truth. Right? Slow down and access love for yourself first. It's okay to slow down. It's okay to talk slowly, which is something I never do. So it is a challenge for me, and not to judge it, but to be in radical allowance of it, and to recognize what it's teaching us in this time period. And recognizing that the things going wrong one after the other is something that happens sometimes. It's part of the cycles. It's a cycle that we're in. And it's asking you, what are you going to do when things go wrong? What are you going to do when the garbage falls, when the dog gets into the garbage and then the garbage falls off for no apparent reason? What are you going to do? What are you going to do when the water, bowl gets spilled all over your catio and wrecks your floors for the second time that cost you 10 grand to fix the last time? That's one of those spaces that is a future problem that, it's already happened. It's already done. I can freak the fuck out, which I originally did, or I can love myself in that space and alchemize that space and recognize I can even let this go. I can let this go too. That's something I'll have to deal with in the future. Sure, I'm going to have to deal with it, but it's not happening to me. It's just happening, period. And it's something I'll have to deal with, and that's okay. I'll deal with it when it comes. And I have a right to enjoy my existence and enjoy my life and find peace and calm and presence and comfort and love even here. Or, when my plants are all dying, which is another thing outside, because I didn't get enough water while I was gone for 2 weeks. I can blame and shame and hate, or I can breathe love into myself even there, and I can cut off all the dead parts and give it a shot and see what happens. And I can recognize them. Maybe I needed to cut down my plant population, like it is pretty intense, or maybe I'll just breathe love into them to the time before and breathe some more light into them and see what happens, one after the other, those things happen here. It's part of being human. Can I love myself even there? Can I breathe calm and peace and patience into myself even there? Can I remain present to my own self even there and give myself what I need? First and foremost, can I alchemize these spaces so that I can access that second space, which is this isn't even yours, and you can just be at peace. And I choose peace, and I choose calm, and I choose presence. And yeah, we got to feel our way through it first. It's normal. Humans feel. We feel all kinds of things: rage, annoyance, upset, betrayal, sadness, grief, let down, like we're letting down ourselves, like the universe is letting us down, like somebody else let us down. We can feel those things. They're natural to humans. It's okay to feel those things, and then alchemize them, and then put the medicine in that space and let them go. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Otherwise, I become a tyrant. I become chaos, I become rage, and I want to become peace and presence and love even there. It's just part of being a human. It's just part of living. It's all natural parts of being human and natural parts of being alive. And when I get to that part of patience and peace and love and calm and presence, then I also get to that part of gratitude and laughter and fun and playfulness. Maybe it's not as serious as I think it is. Maybe I can just, get to that space of playfulness even here. Maybe I can find joy even here. And that was, I think, a lesson that was coming heavily 2 years ago, and I think it's arising again in the now. Can I find joy even here? Can I lighten this space too? Because I deserve it first and foremost, and secondarily, this world deserves it, and my family deserves it. And sure, why not? We have choices. Why not? Yeah, I choose that. And I clear these programs, patterns, modes of functioning, frozen pain spaces, toxic dynamics within and without, and within the family lineages and ancestral lineages, and pocketing that pain instead of facing it and alchemizing it in the moment, and recognizing it's not our job to take away others' pain and suffering. It's our job to alchemize our own, and then to hold loving space as they complete their own. And God, please help me with that. And please clear these wound spaces from our mind, body, spirits, and souls, from our stomachs. I can recognize that this is in the stomach, deep stomach, guts. From our backs, this is the receiving heart. From our heads, obviously brains, head, sinuses, inflammation pathways, electrical, neurological. So this will be like the vagus nerve, the nervous system. So please trigger my vagus nerve now. That would be a good thing to actually ask for when you're in the middle of these situations, just for that extra love of the body, that extra oxytocin when you need it the most. And please connect my vagus nerve to these experiences, to when things go wrong, one after the other, or when trauma or difficult experiences are unfolding in front of me. Please trigger my vagus nerve there. Please connect my vagus nerve into my experiences and into my mode of functioning, my way of existing, and that we clear those old modes of functioning and old ways of existing from our bones, muscle tissue, and from our hormonal and blood systems, and from our nervous systems, and from our guts, and from our feet, our bones, ligaments, muscle tissue, feet, from our brain. Inflammation systems. We clear those inflammation systems. These things don't have to bring inflammation or rage or anger to the body. They can bring peace and calm and presence, and they can bring clarity, and they can bring creativity, and we choose that, and we clear that now. We neutralize, harmonize, and alchemize it, including from the sinuses, including from the brain, including from the skull, from the spine, all the way down to the tailbone. And as we clear that from our mind, body, spirits, and souls, we clear it past the DNA and RNA and into the God space of first creation. We clear it, contracts, binds, barriers, anchors, contracts made out of love, unconscious contracts, or unconsciousness as a totality, because this was deep down in there. We clear them from our mind, body, spirits, and souls, past the DNA and RNA, disintegrating the old DNA and RNA back to dust, and initiating the new DNA and RNA for each unique blueprint, and reconfiguring for each unique blueprint, and alchemizing for each unique blueprint, and realigning, there we go, for each unique blueprint. And we clear, cleanse, and heal all drama, karma, trauma, pull out the dharma, neutralize, purify, clear, cleanse, and heal from the cellular and energetic and magnetic structures, and from the subconscious, unconscious, and conscious minds, pulling all of that through to oneness, to wholeness, to peace, to truth, to love. Welcoming those helper beings and helper frequencies to continue to help us to alchemize these spaces and access these spaces, so that we can bring the light into the darkness, so that we can neutralize, harmonize, and alchemize these spaces and utilize them as we move forward in those good ways. Releasing through the children. I can feel my stomach growling. That's a good sign that I'm shifting the heck out of this stuff. Releasing through my children and up through the ancestral webs, past lifetimes and their webs, and for the collective universal who are open to it at this time, including all planetary systems and on all sides of the veil, in this universe and in the multiverses. We quantum forgive that we didn't know any different, that we didn't know any better. We quantum forgive that we had these programs and patterns and modes of functioning. We quantum forgive that we were coddling or over-tending to, or trying to make right by doing more, by trying to make special. There's that idea of special, feeling like we're failing, but it's a separation consciousness choice, feeling like failing and making the choice from that space, instead of loving yourself into wholeness and knowing you're doing the best that you can, and then making the choice from freedom. And the choices you make from freedom, cool beans, that's where we're in alignment, and that's where everybody grows and everybody heals and everybody benefits. So yes, I want that. Please help us with that. And quantum forgive all of that from our mind, body, spirits, and souls, and from our ancestral lineages through space and time. And quantum purify back to the God source origins. And we welcome those collective healed helpers, those beings of light, those doctors, healers, and nurses in all realms of existence to continue to purify and alchemize these spaces and drop us into those original blueprints, those original codes, and to continue these healings until completed. And we just give so much love and so much gratitude to those helper beings and helper frequencies that are here with us, helping us, guiding us, loving us, nudging us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate you. We love you. We love that you're helping us when we need help the most. And we love that we're helping you in return by making these shifts and changes and alchemizing these spaces and, brightening the lights of these humans that we're in at this time. And we clear, cleanse, and heal all of that now through all quantum fields, and we're opening to receive for best and highest well-being. With the most ultimate of love and gratitude, I choose this. So I choose this and breathe. And Source God Mother, please immediately evolute our systems for best and highest well-being, the systems within us and the systems around us, including those frequencies of our feet. Immediately evolute those frequencies of our feet so that they're at exactly at the frequency that we need for each unique self, spirit, and soul. And as you evolute those frequencies of our feet, really root us from our root chakra all the way down to our universal star, and root us into the form realm so that we're exchanging life force frequency, healing codes, knowledge, wisdom, communications. We love you. We appreciate you. We know we're one big family, and we want to fully and completely be in our bodies, to be in connection and fully grounded in this body in connection. And we clear, cleanse, and heal all of that now through all quantum fields, and we're opening to receive for best and highest well-being. With the most ultimate of love and gratitude, we choose this. So I choose this and breathe. And a good etheric breath for you. So just intending the breath from the ethers, that pure, fresh energy. And then we're just going to do a good etheric breath for anybody who needs it, for all the people I mentioned today and anyone else who's needing it right now. A good etheric breath. Just intending it to go to them. Maybe one more. For this universe. And forgiving ourselves for blaming the universe for the things that unfold. They just unfold. They're part of life. They're part of the natural unfoldings. Nobody's doing this to us purposely. It's just happening. And that's okay. It's part of being human. It's part of being alive. And then we begin to have that gratitude for being here and for being alive and for the experiences and for the magic that's all around us and for the love that we're able to experience within ourselves and around ourselves and with the other beings, and for the laughter and the love and the peace and the presence. So high fives to all the people that lasted out until now. You're doing amazing work. This universe loves you and appreciates you. And I hope you love and appreciate yourself. If you have any questions, put them below. If you saw any visions or you have anything that you saw that could collectively help people that are watching this video, please put them below. Share this video to anybody that you think can use this video. Subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, because the more subscribers, the more YouTube shares this out to the collective so that it can get to all the right people, so that we can all heal ourselves, and in healing ourselves, change this universe by changing our own experience, by changing our own body, by changing our own frequency. When our frequency changes, everything else changes too. So, yep, that's me. Peace be with all of us as we do this work and as we live our lives and as we face our experiences and our existence and our reality from a present co-creative self. How much fun. And if you've been on vacation, I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed mine. And if you feel like getting out there and doing something wild, like getting wild glasses or wild hair, do it. We only live once. Whatever your dreams are, whatever you've been, thinking about, whatever comes from that core self. And I'll do another video on this because this is something that came up at some point in time. It's like those things that keep coming up for you over and over. I want to do this thing and I've never done it. I really want to do this thing and I've never done it. And keep saying that to you. Number one, check in. Is that true for me today? If it's still true for you today, do it. Just do it. It's your soul. It wants those experiences, right? Or this human, or the multi-generational selves, or there's people that came before us that just really wanted the experience. We might as well experience it, right? We're here to experience. Let's do it. So, yeah. Much love from me to you, and from Evie, and from the plants, and purifying this smoky air, and prayers to all the people that are right in the fire zones. We've been there before. That happened to us a couple of years ago, and I know what it's like. It's terrifying, and just so much love into your experience, and knowing that you're going to find your way through it in the best way possible. So, love from us to you. Until next time, take care.